after this video, most likely I am going to be perceived by the internet, or the internet wrestling community, YouTube wrestling community, as a fucking moron, and deservingly so. It was a house show tonight. If you didn't know about it, can't blame you, because they did a horrible job in promoting it. It's a TNA house show. A company that I've been very critical of for the last 3 years, being here on YouTube. This is how I get when I get very pissed off, when I give a company an umpteenth chance to fix the damages that they have put in within me for watching their product and being insulted every time. And that's what happened tonight. Let's get on with the parts that was not TNA's fault. I went with Sabatini Forever and his brother, Marcellus. And in order to go over to Marcellus to drive us, I had to go into the Port Authority in New York City. Get on the bus, there was a car accident around the area where the Lincoln Tunnel is. So it took me an hour and a half to get to where I am, to the Port Authority. I meet up with Travis, Sabatini Forever. I'm going to call him Travis for the rest of this video. We meet up, and it takes us a little bit to get to Marcellus. And mind you, before we get to the Port Authority, I have a splitting headache. So I had to go into a Dwayne Reed and pick up this shit. This is Advil. Pain relievers. I might have to overdose on it after this video. So, I'm with Travis, I'm with his brother, and we're heading to Rahway. We're very close to the place, but I'm very, very, very hungry. So, we stopped at a Burger King, we ate, and the line that we waited on was very long. And by the way, yes, I have a watch. This was probably the best thing of the night, because some random person came up, call him a bum if you want, I don't give a shit, offered me a watch. Whatever. So I'm waiting in line, and Don West is there, promoting this piece of shit. I don't want to call it a piece of shit, because pretty much what this here is a program. It's only, all it is a book full of pictures of the wrestlers. Now, this is obviously a little outdated, mind you. Why do I say that? Well, I'm going to get to my point in a second. First off, he's in this book. Homicide. Homicide's been released from the company for quite some time now, and is with Ring of Honor. Also in this book, and this would be a mark-out thing for Boo Boo, because I think he's a fan, Rosie Lotta Love is also in this fucking book. Shocking. But anyways, now there was a deal on the line. If you had gotten a ticket from first row, second row, or third row, you got to go in early, an hour early, before the show, before the doors are even allowed open, so that you can have a meet and greet session with the superstars of TNA. At JPW, which was 3 months beforehand, promoted this show. And they said there was going to be 3 talents there. I'll even pull out their pictures. They said 3 talents and more, but the 3 talents that were made very clear was AJ Styles, the guy that introduced me to TNA in many regards. Next would be Kurt Angle, the man that I could still say is still in his fucking prime because he's that fucking good. And I was going to try and get a picture with him to make my friend, who is a huge Kurt Angle fan, jealous. And the one that I was wanting to meet the most, and many of you ladies are going to call me a loser, Velvet Sky, my wife, my future wife. I wish. Anyways, those were the talents that were promoted before the show. Guess how many of those 3 were even in attendance that night? Was all 3 of them there? No. Was 2 out of the 3 there? No. Was even at least 1 of the 3 there? No. All 3 of those people that were promoted at the JPW show to be there weren't there. That's not what gets me even angry starting off the show. The next thing that I would find out is that it's uncomfortably hot in there. I've been in the Rahway Rec Center 1 time for that JPW show. It was a little bit warm in there, but it was, how can I say, the room was at least tolerable enough to sit in, watch the show, and enjoy. This was a heat that was so uncomfortable that it gave me a headache. And here's where the worst part comes in. I've been to many indie shows where it involved a meet and greet session. This is how I've always been perceived how they work. Wrestler sits at the table. Depends on the amount of wrestlers, but they're all sitting at a table, and there's lines for each wrestler. You get in a line, and the line just keeps getting smaller, and you keep getting closer to your autograph. Sounds kind of simple, right? You just go in line, you just wait for your turn, everybody goes, gets their autograph, says a little thing with them, maybe get a picture. Simple shit, right? No. Here's how TNA did it. TNA had the wrestlers around the ring, and there was barricades around the ring. All the fans were gathered around the barricade, so it was almost impossible to get in front. Here's what they did. The wrestlers would take your little program, snatch it from you, scribble their name, and hand it back to you. Don't say hi. You don't even tell them, how are you doing? I like your work. They just take it, sign, bam. And of all the wrestlers that they had to sign, you had Rhino, who is a big falter in this. He was the most guilty out of this list of just grabbing it, scribbling his name, and handing it, not even saying anything. Amazing Red, Jesse O'Neill, maybe Shannon Moore, I believe, and Jay Lethal and Mick Foley. None of those guys were the 3 that I wanted to see. Eventually, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Anderson, got to sit at a table and sign autographs. But it was only for another 20 minutes, and the line that was made for Mr. Anderson to get his autograph was too long and too risky to warrant me standing there, waste my time, and then realize, oh, well, it's been 20 minutes, he's not signing autographs anymore, I guess I ain't getting my autograph for this fucking piece of shit program. Another problem with this show was that it was fucking cramped. Even though it was horribly promoted, the good thing was there was a lot of fans there. The problem was that there was too many fans to warrant anybody to be in there. Too many. To a point where there were people standing around the door area because they had bought general admission tickets. Then the actual show starts. Now, I'm not going to rag on this 7-year-old that was sitting next to me because, again, as I made note, it was cramped. The kid was enjoying himself, which was fine. The little kid enjoying the show. He was enjoying what he was watching. Fine. But that's my other point. You've got kids at this show who want to see their favorite superstars. Kids are obviously not going to just sit there. They're going to want to stand. They're going to want to go crazy. You can't do that when the place is fucking cramped as shit. Another problem that I noticed was that they had different sections. A, B, C, and D. All the letters were all mixed up, and the signs were scribbled onto a little white piece of paper that was put in front of a barricade. The problem was, it was put in a position where the fans that were already sitting down were blocking the view from it. They didn't have no, like when I go to Ring of Honor, they usually have a big-ass sign that says SEC, S-E-C, period, and then it says the letter or number or whatever. Simple enough. This company, however, fucking just paste a fucking piece of paper like that. So before the show even begins, arena's too hot and uncomfortable to be in. The room itself is too fucking clustered into one room. It was impossible to freaking fit all these fans in there. But they happened to fucking try, and it was very uncomfortable. The meet and greet session was a fucking disaster. I didn't get any autographs because all the wrestlers, they would be in a section, sign little autographs here and there, and then move on. And you'd be like, hey, can you give me an autograph? Completely ignore you. That's how it was. And of course, the 3 wrestlers that I wanted, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Velvet Sky, not one of the 3 were there. So that was completely disappointing. They even false advertised their goddamn card. Because the main event was supposed to be Abyss versus Tommy Dreamer versus Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Anderson. I call him Kennedy because it's just a fucking habit. So it was supposed to be a fatal 4-way with Mick Foley as the special guest referee. What we actually got was just a regular singles match with Kennedy and Hardy, a hardcore match with Dreamer and Abyss, so there's no fatal 4-way, and Mick Foley was not the special guest referee for either of those, but was a special guest referee for a Rhino squash match. I didn't see all 3 of those matches, and I will get to that. The first match was Jeff Jarrett versus the Pope. Jeremy Borash comes out and says that I am going to award any fan, the loudest fan in this arena, we're going to award them backstage passes. They can go backstage, talk 20 minutes to the wrestlers. Then one of the security guys comes up and says, oh, well, the Pope does not want to see any fans, so he is stopping this backstage pass thing. And then he comes out, and him and Jeremy Borash get into a confrontation about this. Then Jeff Jarrett comes out, and then they start having a promo face-off. How Jeff Jarrett says, we're going to give these fans what they want. If I win, they all get the backstage passes. If you win, they don't. They don't go backstage. So the match happens. Surprisingly enough, Jeff Jarrett won the match. It was very short. It was maybe like 5 minutes. Jeff Jarrett won with the stroke, making the whole heel thing of Elijah Burke, D'Angelo De Niro pointless. And I just didn't care. I didn't. I was too fucking hot in that place. And I liked the heat, but it was hot and uncomfortable. I'm sitting there bored out of my mind already. And not because I'm a TNA hater. I hate crap, and that's what they delivered tonight. So then the next match was Jay Lethal versus Amazing Red for the X Division title. Now, it's already been said, Jay Lethal had lost the X Division title to Amazing Red at the Hammerstein, making Amazing Red the new X Division champion. Tonight, they had a decent little match, went about maybe 6-7 minutes, and Jay Lethal won his X Division title back. Here's where I get pissed off. What the fuck was the point of Amazing Red winning the X Division title in the goddamn first place? If all he was just going to lose it 2 days later. Both of them. He won it at a house show and he lost it at a house show. Meaning that he never had it on TV. So it was the most pointless title reign ever. Then we got the Dudleys versus Jesse O'Neill and Shannon Moore, Inc. in a tables match. This was fucking horrible. This was a clusterfuck. Because it started off like a fucking tag team match. Well, no, it started off like a street fight. Then it started like a tag team match. And then it started like a tables match. They were all fighting on the outside. No one was going to count it out. They're all street fighting. Then they get into the ring, and then both wrestlers are on their sides, getting ready for tags. And then, when the Dudleys start getting enough crowd heat on them, that's when the table starts coming into effect. And this match was crap. It was only maybe 5-6 minutes. Then intermission came, and that's when I texted Travis, let's meet up. We met up, we fucking walked out of the arena, we got something to fucking eat, because Travis was enjoying it more than I was. Because the crowd, I will admit, was really into it. The crowd was really fucking into it. But I wasn't. Because I was already disgusted by how they were handling things. And I will say this. I will give Don West a little bit of credit. When I was waiting in line to get this, which is Kurt Angle's t-shirt, which I regret buying, not because of Kurt Angle, but because of TNA. Don West noted that and saw me standing there waiting for somebody to attend to me, and he actually said, come on, let's get this guy somebody, because he's waiting here, he's sitting here, he's waiting for somebody to come to him. So I'll give Don West a big clap and thank him. I wish I would have gotten his autograph, but hey. This was an absolute monstrosity. Just a terrible show. This was terrible. This would probably be the worst wrestling experience I've ever seen live. Because it was hot, it was uncomfortable, it was too crammed in, there was so many fans in there that it was just ridiculous that you can't fit all those people in there. The meet and greet session was horrendously done. It was the worst meet and greet session I've ever been a part of. Because Ring of Honor holds a bunch of meet and greet sessions. They had one with Ric Flair, they had one with Bret Hart, they had one with Terry Funk, they have it all the time with Jim Cornette, they had it with the Motor City Machine Guns at Supercard of Honor, they had it with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas at Glory by Honor. And they are organized. Evolve had Bryan Danielson. That was organized. Now, Shikara, they were kind of disorganized in a way, but it wasn't to a point where the wrestler just grabs your book, signs it, there you go. That was more along the lines of you get to the wrestler, they actually get into a conversation with you. I got into a conversation with Chuck Taylor, I got into a conversation with Player Uno and Player Dos, I got into a conversation with Dasher Hatfield, and I got into a conversation with Ophidian. Making that time good. I didn't get in a conversation with any of these wrestlers because it was just grab book, sign, bam. That is not a meet and greet session. This is why I told Mike I was very iffy about the meet and greet session, because I found that out the night before. It was not detailed enough. Meaning, do we have to pay to get autographs? Is there a picture that we can get? Do we have to pay for pictures? What is it? And this is what we got. This was crap. This was the worst wrestling experience I've ever witnessed live. And it's not because it's TNA and I'm a TNA hater. TNA did not deliver the goods. They fucked up. They're horrible. I don't know why I gave them a chance. I'm never going to another TNA live show again. And there's one more thing I have to do just for my satisfaction.